What if I told you that in 1918, amidst the chaos of a war and the world on the brink of transformation, that G.I. Gurdjieff delivered a rare lecture holding secrets that still resonate today? It's not just a historical artifact, it's a glimpse into wisdom, a wisdom stream that whispers through time, offers answers to questions so many of us still ask, questions about truth, purpose, and how to find our way when life feels confusing. This lecture served the tides of history, and now we get to shine a light on it together. I'm Mark Roach. Welcome to Transcendent, my platform where we explore what it means to live authentically and uncover your unique essence. Beware, my perspective is not meant to comfort. It's born of a twisted, unpredictable life, moving through highs and lows as most people think of them. This channel isn't about performative self-improvement. It's about peeling back those layers of pretense to reveal what's real. My life has been an experiment guided by mystics, healers, and brilliant minds across disciplines. My aim here is to ease the path for those navigating their own life, especially for anyone dealing with complex PTSD, struggling with what it means to be enough, or trying to figure out where they fit. The Gurdjieff lecture we're exploring today, The Search for Truth, feels like a map to those very questions. He begins talking about people who are hungry and thirsty for truth. He's describing something visceral, a state where the way that you've been living feels like starvation. Maybe you've felt that too. That sense that the surface level answers society gives can't satisfy your deeper questions. Gurdjieff says that for some in that state, realizing the need for change is the first spark of transformation. But recognizing that spark isn't enough. Gurdjieff emphasizes that we often live unaware, identifying so deeply with our emotions, thoughts, and habits that we mistake them for who we are. He used the term identification. Think about the last time you got caught up in anger or sadness so deeply that it shaped how you saw yourself or how you saw others. That's identification. You become so fused with those feelings that you lose objectivity. And here's the hard truth. We all do it, more than we realize. He makes the case that to grow, we have to clean the machine of our being, the part of us clogged by habits and unchecked reactions. But here's the catch. You can't do it alone. To see what needs cleaning, you need an outside perspective. Or he likens it to standing outside oneself. And he says the only way to gain clarity is through mutual help and guidance. That idea hits home. How often have you tried to change something about yourself but felt stuck despite your best efforts? Sometimes growth takes a community, a mentor, or just someone bold enough to hold up a mirror. Then there's the other side of the equation. Beyond self-knowledge is self-development. And Gurdjieff warns us that here we need to tread carefully. If you've ever dived into spirituality or personal development, you know how easy it is to get lost in an overwhelming sea of advice, gurus, quick fixes, and half-truths. Gurdjieff called this an abyss of the most unpardonable charlatanism, the bottomless well of people offering answers, yet so few worth trusting. He believed that the pursuit of real wisdom meant cutting through the noise to find proven guidance and, importantly, to honestly assess if we're ready for what guidance requires of us. And that's where the lecture begins to feel more like a warning than an invitation. Gurdjieff describes a long, difficult road ahead for any seeker. He's not sugarcoating it. He says we need to ask ourselves hard questions. What do you want? Where are you prepared to go? And perhaps the hardest one of all, are you prepared for sacrifices this path demands? Because once you start, going backwards isn't really an option, at least not without high cost. This part stayed with me because it pushes us to think about discomfort of growth. We love the idea of becoming a better version of ourselves, but are we ready to stumble, face gaps in our understanding, or fail and start again? It's easy to romanticize a destination, but what about the unstable terrain between where we are now and where we hope to be? And yet, amidst the warnings, Gurdjieff offers guidance. He tells us not to rush toward our end goal, no matter how urgent it feels. Instead, to focus on the step directly in front of us. Progress doesn't come from trying to leap over the entire valley in one jump. It comes from noticing the flowers on the path, avoiding the hidden pitfalls, and staying rooted in what's real, one step at a time. That balance struck me. His message isn't to forget the larger goal, but to stay grounded in the process, trusting that everything you learn and experience along the way matters. What struck me most about Gurdjieff's words is how timeless they feel. He describes truth as something passed down through generations, often hidden in symbols, stories, and rituals, waiting for those ready to seek it. He believed this knowledge, this great stream, still flows beneath the surface of our chaotic world even today. But it requires effort, even courage to access it, and perhaps that's the heart of this lecture. He's telling us truth is not given freely. It's earned through perseverance and integrity. It's for those daring to venture into uncertainty, not knowing how far they'll need to go or how much they'll need to give up along the way. It's a humbling thought. How often do we want transformation without inconvenience, growth without discomfort, personal power without sacrifice? I think Gurdjieff's words are a challenge. They dare us to look honestly at ourselves, weigh our strengths and willingness, and decide if we're ready to cross the threshold. If the answer is yes, he insists it's possible. When we commit fully to the search, Gurdjieff says we'll encounter unseen support along the way, a chain of seekers across time and space that we'll connect with not just in metaphor, but in real practical ways. The road is personal, but it's never completely solitary. Reading this lecture makes me wonder, are we asking enough of ourselves? Are we willing to see life differently, not just as a place to get by or achieve, but as a vast terrain where the search for meaning is our highest endeavor? Well, that's where I'm leaving this question with you. Are you ready to step into the unknown, not to find answers easily, but to truly live and transform? I'm Mark Roach. This is Transcendent, wishing you all the best.